Here's what you guys need to understand first. Huh? You need to understand a little something first. A year ago, this market was strong by many people. Many people would say the market was strong. It was doing something different. Okay. Now it's doing something different. But a year ago, people were saying the economy was strong. Now, not today. It's freezing up right now. There's a woman who studies this for a living. Her name is Laura Ulrich. She works at the Indeed hiring lab. Many of you guys hear about Indeed. You know what Indeed is, job board company, tracks all a bunch of information on jobs and so forth, right? Well, she gave the line that explains just about everything. And she calls it the low hire, low fire. That's what she calls it. Low hire, low fire. And here's what it means in plain English. If you already have a job, you are probably okay right now. Companies are not firing a bunch of people, although I talk about it quite often in the headlines. But if you look at it, the reality of it, all the people that's out there working in the workforce, companies are not firing a bunch of people. But if you are looking for a job, it is brutal because almost nobody is hiring. Almost nobody. Okay. And here's a number that proves it. Let's jump over to CNBC real quick. All right. Let's jump over here real quick. Here's a number that proves it. The quit rate. That is how many people feel safe enough to quit. It is the lowest that it has been since August of 2020. That is in the middle of the pandemic. So people are not quitting. They are hugging their jobs. And she calls it job hugging. That's what she calls it. Job hugging. How many of you guys are out there job hugging right now? Many of you guys are probably out there job hugging. I know you out there job hugging. Don't lie. Don't lie. Okay. If you're out there job hugging, put job hugging in the chat. Put it in the chat. I want to see it. I want to see who's out there job hugging at this point in time. Let me know. But nobody quits. Nobody hires. The whole thing just sits there. And she calls it stagnation, a frozen pond. And here's the way that I want you guys to see it. Think about musical chairs. Many of you guys play musical chairs in your little elementary school. Your kids are still probably playing musical chairs in their elementary school. But here's the twist. Okay? They did not take any chairs away. They glued everybody to the seat that they already got. So if you got a chair, you're stuck. You can't get up. You can't move around. You can't go to another chair. But at least you are safe. And if you are standing, there is no seat for you. That is the whole job market right now. Right there. Now, here's the part that matters for your paycheck. Layoffs are still happening. In May, companies announced 97,000 cuts. That is the worst May since the year 2022. Okay, 2022. That is the worst May since the year 2022. And this gets, I'm like, it may get worse. The number of cuts is blamed on AI. It hit the highest single month they have ever recorded. So read this as a signal, not a scary story. The market is frozen and the machine is part of the reason why. Which is the reason why I'm telling you guys, and I come to you every single day on this show, not to just talk about layoffs, to talk about the job market and what you can actually do about it. Before we dive into before we get into the numbers, because the numbers I believe is out, I want to share a video for you guys on what Bloomberg was expecting from the number. Okay, I want to share this with you guys real quick. This is what were saying on yesterday regarding the number that was going to drop this morning. Let's listen to it real quick.
We were talking about with Stuart Paul that you think about the type of hiring that we've been seeing. It's very narrow in breadth. It's a few sectors that are really only benefiting here. And I wonder what that means, the sort of read through into the type of spending we can expect going forward and economic growth in general.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the jobless claims data today, well, it's surprised on the upside, but in fact, it's all seasonal due to seasonal volatilities. But the bigger picture is that the labor market has been improving. And it's also broadening. The gains are slowly broadening. And I think in terms of the sectors that's adding job, we have been in this situation with very narrow type of hiring concentrated in healthcare and education. we are now seeing that the hiring is also broadening. So in the last payrolls, we've seen that transportation logistics added a significant amount of people. And I think that is a trend that is going to continue in the rest of this year as the manufacturing and industrial sector is really booming because of defense and also AI.
Right. That's where I wanted to go. Manufacturing has been in an interesting place. We've seen a lot of months of contractions. That has been the story for several years now. We are expecting a slight increase, a slight positive number added to that sector tomorrow. But what are you seeing when it comes to manufacturing overall? You're expecting an improvement, but why is it taking so long?
Well, first of all, industrial production is the most sensitive sector to monetary policy. And when the Fed tightens the interest rate in 2022, that's the first sector that got.
So you see what they're talking about. Manufacturing is supposed to start picking up. Supply chain and logistics started to show some signs of life on the last jobs report. This is what they were saying. Okay, we narrow focus now is starting to widen a bit, right? Jobs. Let's get some more jobs, guys, more jobs. Well, we're going to find out once the number lands. We want to listen into how the experts react in real time. And we're going to react in real time as well. And one more piece here before we get into the number. The Federal Reserve, they set interest rates, right? They meet June the 16th and the 17th. And almost nobody thinks that they're going to cut rates. And here's why that matters to you guys. Of course, high rates mean every boss is under pressure to prove every single job is worth the money. That pressure is the reason the market is frozen. And we already talked about what the stock market is doing to a lot of these companies. You can go out here and have a fantastic earnings report. Guidance may be off a little bit. It doesn't meet Wall Street's expectations. So they say, you know what? Yeah, you did good. You got us some A pluses, but we're still going to cut your stock by 12%. The market is looking at the future guidance and it's already pricing in what you said you're going to do. So if all that is happening, you already know there's going to be more pressure on the worker. Interest rates high. Bosses need to make sure that they need to look at every single job. You can do A plus work, but you know they're going to be requiring more. That's what we're going to look at. That's what we're going to be looking like. So don't think that you can coast. Every single employee is getting looked at and evaluated every single month. You know how we just had the Oklahoma City and the San Antonio Spurs in a Western Conference championship, and the Spurs took it. Well, one of the people who they're talking about right now, after he's had a pretty decent season, was Chet Holmgren. Chet had a really good year. Besides his playoff game in game 7, where he only took about 2 shots. Now people are just like, you know what? Chet Holmgren needs to be traded. But Chet Holmgren had a really good year. He had a really good year. I think he was averaging like 17 and like 9 rebounds. That's a good role player right there, especially for a guy who's 7 foot tall. Well, one game. Now he's on a chopping block, potentially getting traded for Giannis Antetokounmpo from out of Milwaukee. At least that's what they're saying, right? So it's the same thing for you. Yes, you can be a star player. You can be a star player this quarter. You can be a star player this month. But here's the thing. You don't perform. Something happens. You slack off. Or you decide you want to coast. You're on a chopping block. That's what it's going to. Let's see if we can get to the jobs report. That's what I want to do. I want to see if I can get to the jobs report right now. The jobs report live, guys. Have you guys checked on CNBC? Have you checked the jobs report this morning? I know I had a link here to get to watch live on CNBC. Let me see if I can get to it. Yeah, here we go.
Is basically flat over the.
Let's see. We got Rick on here. Rick Santinelli. All right, we're going to get to it. All right. Here we go, guys. See if I can fast forward the stream.
We are just seconds away from the May jobs data. Rick Santelli is standing by at the CME in Chicago. And Rick, very quickly, you've got some thoughts about rate expectations and the guessing game that's taking place around them.
Absolutely. You know, Fed fund futures are a nice gauge for 1, maybe even 2 meetings out. Beyond that, things can change dramatically from day to day, week to week. And the possibility of a tightening for the July meetings running about 8%. High water mark lately has been about 12%. 4 weeks ago, it was 4% chance of an ease. My point is, it's an argument between labor and inflation. These inflation supply shock numbers will not get the Fed to surprise the market.
Here it is, guys. And the question that everybody's wondering is, what is the Fed going to do? What are they going to do? June 16th, June 17th in the meeting. Are they going to raise rates? Are they going to lower rates? Or they're not going to do anything at all? My opinion, they're not going to do anything at all. But we'll see. Let's listen to the jobs report.
And the data is out, the May jobs report. 172,000. Is there any doubt that this anecdotal evidence about a good labor market has been very correct? That is a really strong number. And last month,
Holy shoot, guys. I didn't see this one coming.
well, we had a revision from 115,000 to 179,000, which means the 2-month revision has got to be over 90,000. That is a good number. Even manufacturing posted a 7,000 job gain. So how strong is 172,000? That would be the best number since 185,000 in March. These are solid numbers. If we look at what's going on with average.
Oh, whoa. So last month we had 115,000. At least that was a number where when we watched this, Rick came out and said it. It was revised plus 80,000. That's heading in the right direction because most of the time it's minus 80. It's actually plus 80, guys. Can you believe that? Uh-oh, we may be on the other side of the frozen market. Maybe we may be thawing now.
Average hourly earnings come in at 0.3 as expected. If we look at average hourly earnings year over year, 3.4 as expected. And I would like to point out that on the month over month, 0.3 is a tenth higher than the 0.2 in the rearview mirror. But the 3.4 year over year is 0.2 light. 0.2 light. 3.4 would equal where we were in March. We started the year at 3.7. Okay. Now, if we look at the work week, and the work week, of course, has been getting a bit smaller. The average work week's coming in at 34.3 as expected. The unemployment rate, drum roll please, 4.3. Well, we didn't really need the drum roll. That is a very, very nice, historically low rate, and it's pretty steady there. As a matter of fact, we're at 4.3 every month this year, except for February, we're at 4.4. Labor force participation.
That's a pretty strong number, guys. 4.3%. That's pretty solid. Now, we got to get into the details on these numbers, and I don't have the time to get into the details today, but I would tell you like this, guys. Based on this number right here, 172,000 jobs. That's a good sign. Unemployment being at 4.3% and staying steady. That's a good sign. That is a pretty good sign. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that's a pretty good sign right now.